In the quiet pre-dawn hours of July 14th, 2012, a harrowing 911 call shattered the stillness of Clearwater, Florida. The voice on the line, trembling and urgent, belonged to Jay LaFew, who had just discovered his roommate, 29-year-old Adrianne Robert, lifeless in their shared apartment. Adrianne, a vibrant graphic designer originally from Maine, had been preparing for a fresh start, planning to move out the very next day. The night before, she and Jay had ventured to Diamond Dolls, a local nightclub, to celebrate this new chapter. Unbeknownst to them, this innocent outing would culminate in a tragedy that would haunt the community. Surveillance footage from the club later revealed Adrianne leaving alone around 1:30 a.m., a black shawl draped over her shoulders. A man, previously seen interacting with her inside, handed her the shawl she had forgotten and then walked alongside her into the night. This seemingly benign gesture would later become a focal point in the investigation. Upon returning home around 3:30 a.m., Jay stumbled upon a scene of horror. Adrianne's lifeless body lay in the bathroom, a single stab wound to her chest. The apartment bore signs of a violent struggle: overturned furniture, scattered belongings, all indicators of the terror that had unfolded just hours before. The Clearwater community, known for its serene beaches and tight-knit neighborhoods, was thrust into a state of shock and fear. Who could commit such a heinous act? And more disturbingly, was the perpetrator still lurking among them? As detectives delved deeper into the case, they faced mounting pressure to unravel the mystery and bring justice for Adrianne. Through meticulous investigative work, authorities identified the man seen with Adrianne that fateful night as 23-year-old Thomas Hampton Frederick. Frederick, a transient with no fixed address, had no prior criminal record, making the motive behind this brutal crime even more perplexing. Detectives employed both traditional surveillance techniques and modern forensic methods to build their case. A discarded cigarette butt, carelessly left by Frederick, provided the DNA evidence linking him to the crime scene. The arrest of Frederick brought a semblance of relief to the community, but it also unearthed deeper questions about the nature of violence and the hidden dangers that can lurk beneath everyday interactions. As the trial unfolded, the courtroom became a battleground of emotions, with Adrianne's family seeking justice and closure for their beloved daughter. In February 2014, after a grueling legal process, Frederick was found guilty of first-degree murder and grand theft auto, receiving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. While this verdict provided a measure of justice, the void left by Adrianne's untimely death remained a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the unforeseen perils that can alter it in an instant. This case serves as a somber testament to the importance of community vigilance and the relentless pursuit of justice in the face of senseless violence. Adrianne's legacy endures, inspiring efforts to ensure that such tragedies are prevented in the future and that the memories of those lost are honored through unwavering commitment to truth and justice.
Welcome back to the channel, Shadows of Crime, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of our crime videos. Before we jump in, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you enjoy this content, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, let's get into it.
The story of Adrianne Robert all began in the coastal city of Clearwater, Florida, a place renowned for its sun-drenched beaches, vibrant art scene, and a community that embodies the quintessential Floridian lifestyle. Nestled along the Gulf Coast, Clearwater is home to approximately 117,000 residents, with a median age of 46, reflecting a blend of youthful energy and seasoned wisdom. Its diverse population and lively atmosphere make it an inviting destination, but beneath its picturesque facade, an unthinkable tragedy would soon unfold.
Amidst this picturesque setting, the nightlife of Clearwater adds a dynamic pulse to the city's rhythm. One notable establishment is Diamond Dolls, a gentleman's club strategically located at 16,361 U.S. Highway 19 North. Established in late 1989, Diamond Dolls quickly cemented its reputation, being voted the #1 topless club in Tampa Bay for 17 consecutive years. A significant remodel in 2015 revitalized its ambiance, ensuring it remained a premier destination for both locals and visitors seeking evening entertainment. Within this vibrant community resided Adrianne Robert, a 29-year-old graphic designer originally from Maine. Adrianne relocated to Florida in 2007, drawn by the state's burgeoning creative industry and the promise of new beginnings. Known for her vivacious spirit and artistic flair, she quickly became an integral part of Clearwater's creative community. On the evening of July 13, 2012, Adrianne and her roommate Jay Lafew decided to commemorate her upcoming move with a night out at Diamond Dolls. The club, renowned for its lively atmosphere and entertainment, seemed the perfect venue for a farewell celebration. Unbeknownst to them, this night would set in motion a series of events that would forever alter their lives and cast a shadow over the Clearwater community. As the night progressed, Adrianne and Jay immersed themselves in the club's vibrant ambiance, mingling with other patrons and enjoying the performances. The celebratory mood was palpable, with laughter and music filling the air. However, as the clock inched closer to closing time, the night's trajectory took an unforeseen turn. Adrianne Robert was last seen around 1:30 a.m., leaving the Diamond Dolls nightclub. Surveillance footage captured her retrieving a forgotten black shawl handed to her by an unidentified man. The two were seen walking together, their figures fading into the dimly lit streets, marking the last public sighting of Adrianne alive. Approximately 2 hours later, at 3:30 a.m., Adrianne's roommate, Jay Lafew, returned to their shared apartment. Expecting the familiar comfort of home, Jay was instead met with an unsettling silence. As he called out to Adrianne with no response, a sense of dread began to seep in. Venturing further into the apartment, he discovered a scene that would forever haunt him. In the bathroom, Jay found Adrianne's lifeless body. She had suffered a fatal stab wound to her chest, a brutal act that had extinguished a bright and promising life. Overcome with shock and grief, Jay immediately contacted emergency services, his voice trembling as he relayed the horrific discovery. The crime scene bore the unmistakable signs of a violent struggle. Furniture lay overturned, personal items scattered across the floor, and traces of blood marked the path of the altercation. These chaotic remnants painted a harrowing picture of Adrianne's final moments, reflecting her desperate fight against the assailant. As dawn broke over Clearwater, the news of Adrianne's tragic death began to spread, casting a shadow over the community. Friends and neighbors grappled with a mix of sorrow and fear, struggling to comprehend how such a heinous act could occur in their midst. The once lively apartment now stood as a somber reminder of a life abruptly and violently cut short. After a short time, Clearwater detectives arrived at the apartment complex where Adrianne Robert had been found murdered. The scene was chaotic, with signs of a violent struggle evident throughout the apartment. Furniture was overturned, and personal belongings were scattered, indicating a desperate fight had taken place. Notably, there were no signs of forced entry, leading investigators to consider the possibility that Adrianne may have known her attacker. The medical examiner's report revealed that Adrianne had suffered a single fatal stab wound to her chest. This precise injury raised questions about the nature of the attack. Was it a targeted assault, or had something escalated unexpectedly? Additionally, evidence of sexual assault was documented, adding another layer of complexity to the case. Forensic teams meticulously combed the apartment for evidence, collecting various samples, including potential DNA evidence from the victim and surrounding areas. However, initial database searches yielded no immediate matches, leaving investigators without a clear suspect. Detectives turned their attention to surveillance footage from the Diamond Dolls nightclub, where Adrianne had spent her final evening. The footage revealed Adrianne interacting with a man who handed her a black shawl she had left behind. The two were seen leaving the club together around 1:30 a.m., providing a crucial lead in the investigation. Using this footage, investigators identified the man as 23-year-old Thomas Hampton Frederick, a local resident with no significant criminal history. Surveillance also captured Frederick's vehicle, which matched the description of a car seen near Adrianne's apartment complex around the time of the murder. With this information, detectives began covert surveillance of Frederick, monitoring his daily activities in hopes of obtaining further evidence. They observed him frequenting local establishments, interacting with acquaintances, and maintaining his routine, all while remaining unaware of the scrutiny he was under. The breakthrough came when Frederick discarded a cigarette butt outside a local convenience store. Recognizing the opportunity, detectives swiftly retrieved the cigarette and submitted it for DNA analysis. The results were conclusive. The DNA from the cigarette matched the DNA evidence collected from Adrianne's apartment, definitively linking Frederick to the crime scene. Armed with this critical evidence, authorities moved quickly to apprehend Frederick. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and grand theft auto, as he had also stolen Adrianne's car following the murder. During questioning, Frederick made certain admissions, though specific details were not disclosed by investigators.
The arrest brought a semblance of relief to the Clearwater community, which had been on edge following the brutal crime. Vigils were held in Adrianne's memory, and residents expressed gratitude for the swift action of law enforcement in bringing her alleged killer to justice. The case underscored the critical role of forensic science and diligent police work in solving violent crimes. Following his arrest, Frederick was charged with first-degree murder and grand theft auto. The trial commenced in late January 2014, drawing significant attention due to the nature of the crime and the community's interest. Over the course of 3 days, the prosecution presented compelling evidence, including the DNA match from the crime scene and Frederick's subsequent actions. The defense faced challenges in countering the forensic evidence and the narrative constructed by the prosecution. After deliberations, the jury returned a guilty verdict on January 31, 2014. Frederick was convicted of first-degree murder, a decision that brought a sense of justice to Adrianne's family and friends. The conviction ensured that Frederick would face a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Reflecting the severity of his actions, Adrianne's family expressed profound relief and gratitude following the verdict. Her father, Mark Robert, poignantly remarked, "The animal that took my daughter is now going to be in a cage like an animal should be," underscoring the family's anguish and the trial's emotional weight. The case also served as a somber reminder of the potential dangers that can lurk unexpectedly, prompting many in the community to reflect on safety and the fragility of life. In the years following the conviction of Thomas Hampton Frederick for the murder of Adrianne Robert, the case seemed resolved. However, recent developments have unveiled new layers to this tragic story, prompting both reflection and renewed scrutiny. During the initial investigation and subsequent trial, Frederick maintained a narrative that positioned him as a passive participant in the events leading up to Adrianne's death. He claimed that their encounter was consensual and that he had no involvement in her murder. However, recent analyses of his statements have highlighted discrepancies. For instance, Frederick's timeline of events conflicted with surveillance footage and witness testimonies. While he stated he left Adrianne's residence shortly after their arrival, digital evidence from cell tower pings suggests he remained in the vicinity for a more extended period. Such inconsistencies have raised questions about the veracity of his account and his actual involvement in the crime. At the time of the investigation, certain details were withheld from the public to preserve the integrity of the case. Recently declassified documents reveal that a neighbor reported hearing raised voices and a loud thud around 2:45 a.m., contradicting Frederick's claim of a peaceful departure. Additionally, forensic analysis uncovered partial fingerprints on the bathroom sink, suggesting a possible struggle. These revelations paint a more chaotic scene than previously understood, indicating that Adrianne may have fought for her life in her final moments. Forensic psychologists have revisited Frederick's behavioral patterns, seeking to understand his mindset leading up to the crime. Dr. Emily Harper, a criminal psychologist, noted that individuals who commit such crimes often exhibit signs of escalating behavior, such as increased aggression or boundary violations. However, Frederick's lack of a prior criminal record presents an anomaly. Dr. Harper suggests that this could indicate suppressed violent tendencies or a triggering event that led to the crime, emphasizing the complexity of human behavior and The challenges in predicting such actions. The tragic murder of Adrianne Robert in July 2012 sent shockwaves through both the Clearwater, Florida community and her hometown in Maine. The senseless loss of a vibrant 29-year-old woman left an indelible mark on all who knew her. In the immediate aftermath, Clearwater residents were gripped by fear and sorrow. Vigils were held to honor Adrianne's memory, with community members coming together to support her family and friends. Local organizations emphasized the importance of community safety and solidarity during such trying times. Adrianne's loved ones have been steadfast in ensuring her legacy endures. Memorial services celebrated her life, highlighting her passions and the joy she brought to others. Friends and family have shared stories and memories, painting a picture of a compassionate and spirited individual. Online memorials, such as her obituary on Dignity Memorial, serve as lasting tributes to her life and the impact she had on those around her.
As we reflect on this tragedy, one question lingers. Was this truly a random attack, or is there more beneath the surface? The circumstances surrounding Adrianne's death continue to prompt discussions about safety, trust, and the unforeseen dangers that can lurk in everyday encounters. We invite you to share your thoughts and perspectives on this case. What do you believe led to this tragic event? Engage with us in the comments section. If you're passionate about in-depth crime stories and wish to stay informed, subscribe to our channel and activate notifications. Your engagement helps us delve deeper into these narratives and shed light on stories that matter.